Thanks to the Victorian Government, it's time to visit Victoria for round 5 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. For the second time this season, we arrive at majestic Phillip Island, a place of stunning natural beauty, but more importantly, the home of the best racetrack in the world. Phillip Island is renowned for always providing extremely close racing along with its stunning natural vistas. Phillip Island, of course, everybody knows this magnificent track. We charge down the Gardner Straight into Motul Corner, turn 1, and then we transition to the left-hand side of the tyre through the long turn 2, through turn 3, and then up to the iconic turn 4. Honda Corner this weekend. Down now to the bottom end of the circuit at Siberia, through the left at Dunlop, and then we head up towards the magnificent Hayshed, turn 7, the Race and Road Corner. We'll catch plenty out this weekend. Across the top of the hill and down into Pirelli, turn 10. Then we set sail for the start-finish line, through Michelin, turn 11, round through turn 12, and then across the start-finish line to complete a lap of Phillip Island.
+30 years we've been coming to the island, Chris. It's just a spectacular place, isn't it? And it's a very special track here in Australia.
Oh, it's iconic, not only here in Australia, but around the world. You know, when you come here, Australian Championship, it's fantastic, but we get MotoGP, we get World Superbikes, and it is iconic, and it does make, in my opinion, some of the best racing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought me here to this corner, the AMF corner, for one reason, because you think it's the most important corner. You get the speed up as you head down the hill.
Well, it's a long corner. It's probably the longest corner on the circuit, turn 2, the southern loop, we used to call it in GP times, and it is a double apex, so the entry is crucial. But there's a few overtaking points in this corner. You can overtake on the way in. Then to get a good drive out of here, you want to let the bike run a little bit wide mid-turn. If you do it too wide, a guy can slip it up the inside of you again, but it is very important to get the drive out of this corner and down into turn 3.
Great view in the background too, but you don't get a lot of time to look at that, do you?
I don't.
Well, Chris, you know me, I always like a bit of a combo. And Race and Road Corner behind us here is one of my favourite corners on the track, because you really go through there, speeds of over 200, up to 240 in the middle of the corner. And then we head up to Ducati. It's a blind left-hander. And the thing for me about that is how much you really have to trust the front up that hill, and you can get a good drive around the outside or the inside of your competitors up there to get a good spot for braking into the next one.
It's so, like you said, Steve, it's so fast through here, and they resurfaced the track, so the grip is up and the camber changes, so you head to the outside, it does drop away. You are flying through here, you said like 240 plus Ks an hour, that ripple strip does come up, and you do have to set your entry up for Ducati turn. And that is an interesting one, because you crest the top of the hill, the bike gets very, very light through there. It's a difficult one. If you go wide, someone can get up the inside of you, and you're trying to not sacrifice too much because you want to get a good entry into MG down the bottom. So yeah, really tricky part of the racetrack. I love it as well, but I love all the Phillip Island.
Well, Chris, you know I hate talking about your history and your past, but as a guy who's finished on the podium in Supersport, World Superbike, and you've beaten Valentino Rossi around this track, this final complex is where it's at.
It is. It's very important, and it's very, very fast. We've got the sort of the slow MG hairpin, if you like, and then you run onto the straight starts. Turn 11, turn 12, you're accelerating up the gears, 4th gear when you enter this last turn, and then trying to get the bike to drive down this straight where you reach well over 300 kilometres an hour. It's sensational to ride. When you get it right, it's so fast, it's spectacular, and it, like I said before, it's one of the coolest racetracks in the world. So yeah, I love coming here, and I loved racing around here.
Conditions also play a massive part in the way the race will play out here at Phillip Island.
Well, it is. We're on the edge of the ocean, aren't we? And the wind does come in, Steve. The weather rolls in, and the wind direction really affects. I think for me, racing, that's one of the biggest things. It affects how it pushes you down the straight, or it's a headwind down the straight, and that can help you in a certain corner or push you wide in a certain corner. So it really affects things. It affects the riders' reactions, how they're feeling on the bike, and how the team are going to set up that motorcycle. They might need to change their gearing. They might even need to change suspension, chassis setups to work with that wind or the rain or whatever's coming in. So it is very variable, and you have to be on your toes and ready to go.
Well, there you have it, the Ducati track preview for this weekend.
From the best racetrack in the world, Phillip Island. We've already seen one great race today. Unfortunately, red flagged a fraction early, and Josh Newman recorded the win. That's his third race win of the year in the Supersport 300 category. And time to head down to the grid now, who is Chris is amongst the riders.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. And what a better way to start than the pole man, Ollie Simpson. It's not often we see you on the front row of the grid, let alone pole position. You must be wrapped with how yesterday went.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty rare occasion for me. Yeah, just feeling really good on the bike at the moment, and it's good to be back on a real fast-flowing track. I've always enjoyed the faster track, so it's always a good sign. So normally I go forward in the races, so I can't go much far forward than first, so let's keep it that way.
Yeah, definitely. And low 35s yesterday in qualifying, is that something you can do in the race, continue that pace?
I think, I mean, it's going to be a bit harder with the wind. I think now they've got a massive tailwind down the straight, but a headwind down Free Haitian and stuff, so we'll see, but I think they'll be close to the pace.
Well, good luck.
Cheers.
There you go, it's our pole man, and like long-time contender in this championship, and a guy that really challenges for victories. You got to watch him off the start. He is very quick. But I'll head down to second place here, and our championship leader, Jonathan Nalos. Jonathan, front row start, very important for the race. You feel confident?
Yeah, obviously front row start's very important, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident. We've made a few changes for this morning, and it felt pretty good in warm-up. And yeah, hopefully we can improve from qualifying yesterday, and yeah, hopefully get back up on the top set. If not, the podium, that would be great.
Well, I hope to see you in Park, mate.
Thank you.
There you go, that's our championship leader, and that guy's been very, very strong all year and a very consistent rider. I'll come over and see if we can grab Archie McDonald. Archie, fastest in first qualifying yesterday, but you didn't even go out in the second session. Is there something behind that?
Basically, I didn't go out in the second session because I didn't feel I needed to. I had the fastest time I did, and I realised if someone's going to beat me, they're going to have to do a lap record, and that's what the two boys in front of me did. They both had to do a lap record to beat my time, and respectfully, they did fast times. I don't know if I could beat them, but we'll see in the race now. And yeah, all in all, my tyres are fresh, and I can't tell you one other person here with fresh tyres besides me.
Well, there you go. Obviously, tactics there. The wind today, is it affecting you? Does it feel different out there?
Look, I went out in the warm-up lap. It's very windy, but it's the same for everyone. I'm going to be better than everyone, and we're going to see how we go.
I love the confidence. Good luck.
Wish me luck. See ya.
So championship situation heading into this weekend. JJ Nalos on 176 points leads the championship from Archie McDonald in second, Ollie Simpson in third, Tom Bramage in fourth place. Of course, he's always good here at Phillip Island as well. Young Sydney rider Jake Farnsworth back there in fifth position. Tom Taparis, the governor of Goulburn, won't be here this weekend, but hopefully at the next round. Jack Mahaffey, his teammate, holds down seventh position. Jack Favell in eighth. Hayden Nelson in ninth for the BC Performance team, and Glenn Nelson, another stop and seal rider, rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Brandon Demery on the Kawasaki, 636. Good to see him up there. Marcus Hamod is back from injury as well on his Honda. Corey Turner riding Yamaha this time out in 13th. Mark Kyoto, good to see him back here this weekend too. 64 points. Hopefully he'll figure in these races ahead today, I would say. Jacob Hatch, Cooper Roundtree, Marianus Nicholas, and 18th is Declan Van Rosmellen.
That was also Brandon Demery's 27th birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, Brando, and he'll be looking to celebrate with a strong result on the Race DNA Kawasaki here today. I reckon there's a couple of people coming back. Surely they're not going are they going all the way around the long lap penalty? Let's recap that grid. Ollie Simpson, JJ Nalos and Archie McDonald on the front row of the grid. Kyoto, the man you were just talking about, will start out of position number 4 on the second row, but he was third fastest in second qualifying. Jake Farnsworth and Jack Mahaffey join him on the second row.
Favell, Bramage and Hayden Nelson on row 3. Row 4, Hunter Ford. That's a good result for him too. Glenn Nelson and Brandon Demery on that lone Kawasaki there next to Hayden Nelson. Marcus Hamod on the Honda. Scott Nicholson riding back-to-back 300 and 600. Luca Durning, John Quinn, Cameron Rende, as we said, back from Spain, and Cooper Roundtree on that row 6.
We're ready to go racing for Michelin Supersport for the first time this weekend. Brand new custom painted helmet for our pole setter. Supersport is go. Great stuff. Remember on the front row of the grid, charging through is Jack Mahaffey as well on board bike number 37, and gets the stop and seal machine right into the mix as they make their way down towards turn 1. But Ollie Simpson has got a cracking start, Steve. He's got a good lead as they make their way through Motul Corner for the first time. Change of direction now at AWMF, and up the inside, Mark Kyoto has made his intentions quite clear early on.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Kyoto's off, and one of the stop and seal riders off as well. It's
Mahoney. Mahaffey.
and Kyoto both off. Maybe, yeah, we didn't really get to see what happened there. We'll hopefully get a replay of that. But by about now, the number 45, Ollie Simpson, he's made it all the way to Honda Corner without being overtaken. He'll be thinking, great, I've managed to avoid the carnage on the first lap, and he'll be taking his first breath about now. And look at that, he stretched the field out slightly too, which is good to see for his race.
Yeah, I just noticed Hayden Nelson was completely sideways on the brakes down into a Honda Corner turn 4. So a big first lap for the first year motorcycle mechanic apprentice from Taree in New South Wales. There he is right behind. No, I was just trying to see who that was. I think it was Jack Favell on board the Addicted to Track bike number 33.
Certainly caused a bit of a gap there between McDonald and Jake Farnsworth, but Jonathan Nalis, Arch McDonald, Ollie Simpson, the protagonists in the championship, are right where they need to be in that top 3. Jack Favell, good result from him in 5th at the moment too.
It is, but look at JJ has clawed his way right up onto the back now of Ollie Simpson's machine. Arch McDonald there as well. So remember, we've got the tyre battle out front as well, with JJ and Ollie running the Pirelli tyres, and in 3rd position, Archie McDonald with Michelin's on board the stop and seal machine. We've seen the Michelins are very good towards the end of the race.
And we also heard Archie McDonald talking on the grid about how he didn't go out in that second qualifying to preserve a tyre. So he's going to have newer tyres than the 2 guys in front from the start of the race as well. So if he just plays his cards right, he's going to be in a better position later on in the race. But up the inside goes the 45. Nice move there by Ollie Simpson.
Did you see, though, that
runs wide?
JJ Nalis was hard on the brakes. Looked like the wind might have caught him and pushed him out a little bit. He did a good job to save it. And then when Ollie Simpson ran a fraction wide on the exit of the corner, here's a replay of that turn 2 incident on the first lap. You can see there, Kyoto just tagged the back of Mahaffey's machine, couldn't get the bike stopped for AWMF corner. Mahaffey's in the gravel trap, doesn't know why, and unfortunately Kyoto has hit the tyre wall, and the CBR 600 is down.
Yeah, the Ducati replay there.
Both riders picked their bikes up and were back on track though, Steve.
Both of those guys not happy and obviously out of this one. Hopefully they can get those bikes back and ready for race 2 later on today.
Yeah, Nicholson and Marcus Hammond, the reigning Supersport 300 champion, having a bit of a battle there. Good to see Marcus back on the Motor City entry. He's inside the top 10 as well, so good result on his return from injury.
How tough is Scott Nicholson just jumping off the 300, getting on the 600, 2 races in a row, heading out there, and away he goes.
It is JJ Nalis that leads by 0.2 of a second over Ollie Simpson as they came across the line. Archie's closed right up onto the back of the Simpson crash machine as well. Good battle there with Farnsworth, Hayden Nelson, and also Favell.
And that incident at turn 2 is under investigation between those 2 riders, Mark Kyoto and Jack Mahaffey as well. So we'll keep you updated with any information we get from that. Fastest lap of the race so far, 35.4, which is pretty quick considering we had a lap record in qualifying at 35.1.
Yeah, and also the conditions are certainly not ideal here with that strong blustery wind.
The conditions can help in certain parts of the track though. They're heading at a headwind now as they head left through this one and they go into the Racing Road right-hander where they are now. The wind's actually going to blow them tight, which will help them as they head up into the Ducati corner here.
Well, 34.682 is the race lap record held by JJ Nalis, set earlier this year when he took 3 victories from 3 starts to lead the championship, heading to his home track at Sydney Motorsport Park for round 2. Good battle going on there for 4th position. The top 3 have just started to break away.
Yeah, well, Jonathan Nalis is doing a really good job there. Jack Favell doing his best. Jake Farnsworth there in a good battle between themselves too, with Hayden Nelson on the 279 Kawasaki machine just behind him.
JJ's Nalis has just done a 35.1, so that's only 0.3 of a second off the lap record that he set earlier on this year, so he's getting faster and faster. Ollie Simpson and Archie McDonald also setting their fastest laps of the race as well. All of them in the 35s. Farnsworth's doing 35s as well, so is Favell and Hayden Nelson, so the pace is really on at the front.
I'll tell you who else is quick, Tom Bramich, 35.6 for him. He's got work to do to catch up, 3.9 seconds off the lead. He's actually doing that time on his own. So if he can get a good start, you can just see him there at the back of the group. and it looks like he's actually catching the guys in front.
Well, Tom Bramage is a very experienced rider. He's got a lot of laps under his belt here across lots of different sorts of machinery as well. He's only 0.9 of a second behind Hayden Nelson on the BC Performance Kawasaki as they make their way up through Dunlop and head up towards the top end of the circuit. As you can see, quite a few spectators have made their way in here today to take in the action at Phillip Island as JJ Nalus holding down a small lead over Ollie Simpson. We're coming up to complete lap 4. They're getting up towards half race distance. 9 laps is the journey for Michelin Supersport here this weekend of the 4.45 kilometres of sinuous bitumen perched on the coastline here at Phillip Island. You can see that wide line of Archie McDonald. He's a fraction wider than everybody else, getting the drive through turn 12 and out onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight. Favel is right into the slipstream now of Farnsworth. Farnsworth's machine just pulls away as he gets the launch out of turn 12 and down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight.
Simpson is not giving this up. 35.2 for him, equaling Nalus's lap time last time round. So Simpson is doing everything he can to sit in that second position.
Just dropping off the back a fraction is the 17-year-old from Taree, Hayden Nelson. You can see him there, just that gap to Favel's machine is just starting to increase a fraction as both Farnsworth and Favel try their best to extricate themselves from that battle. You can see Bramage is starting to close in. The gap on the last lap, Steve, was down to 0.7 of a second behind Nelson. I reckon it's even closer now as they make their way out of turn 4. JJ Nalus's lead is up to half a second over Ollie Simpson. And Archie McDonald has dropped off to 1.1 seconds behind our race leader now in the battle for third.
These guys are tough. They certainly are out there. Take Hayden Nelson for an example. He lives 4 hours away from the closest training bitumen circuit. Can you believe that? That's how far he's got to travel if he wants to have any bitumen fun.
Here's a Ducati replay of an incident that happened a little bit earlier in the race. That was Hunter Ford running wide on board bike number 8, and also Scott Nicholson and Marcus Hammond taking advantage of the fact that the man from Newcastle was a fraction wide into that corner. Plenty more action coming up here from Phillip Island. Back shortly. And welcome back to Phillip Island. It is round 5 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships presented by Motul. And there's not many more late breakers than Jake Farnsworth, than to be closing in on him on the brakes at one of the hardest braking areas at the circuit. It's an impressive feat there from the Addicted to Track rider.
Well, sometimes when you're a rider like Favel and you get stuck behind a guy like Farnsworth and you've sat there for laps and laps and laps, you get sucked into doing their pace even though you're faster than them. And I feel that that's where Favel is at the moment.
Well, I was going to say, big move coming here from Archie McDonald. He set that up through Racing Road corner at the Hayshed. Across the top of the hill, got great drive. And down the inside, we know Archie's a demon on the brakes. Into Pirelli corner, he went up the inside of Ollie Simpson to take up the running in second. The gap to our race leader is now out to 2.4 seconds. Yeah, well, they come round to complete lap 6 of this race.
I mean, Nalus is going quick, but Simpson really dropped off, like 36.7 that time through compared to 35.9 by Archie McDonald.
I think Archie coming up the inside probably cost Ollie a second or so down there at that corner where the overtake was made.
Well, he's just not able to maintain the pace, whatever it is with his setup.
Oh! Big moment there from Glenn Nelson, I think it was, Steve.
Wow. We might get a replay of that, hopefully. Here we go on the Ducati replay down the hill. And you can just see there, Archie McDonald dives up the inside there, carries that momentum. Ollie, for some reason, not really trusting the front there. Archie McDonald holds that mid-corner speed all the way through. Ollie tries to dive back up the inside, but nothing he can do about it. And he's just got to regroup now. I mean, he's in a good spot for a podium. He's got a couple of seconds gap back to Jake Farnsworth, but he can't afford to slow down too much more because Farnsworth's looking pretty stable out there at the moment with his lap times too. So Ollie needs to take a few deep breaths and try and recoup. There is that group with Farnsworth and Favel in 4th and 5th position.
You can see Farnsworth there sliding the bike into the corner as he gets in there deep and late on the brakes. Yeah, I'm not sure who that was that had the big moment as they made their way into AWMF corner on that last lap. It was certainly the battle behind Hayden Nelson. So maybe Glenn Nelson was one of those riders that was crossed up and sideways as we go back to this battle between Farnsworth and Favell. Farnsworth bike looks to have the advantage on the straight, but by the time they get round to turn 4, you will see that Jack Favell on board bike number 33 has made his way back up onto the tail of Farnsworth's Race Development's entry.
He's there, but he's just like sitting there. So unless he's got a plan for the last lap that he knows rock solid, he needs to just start trying to take a few different lines to see if he's got an advantage somewhere over Farnsworth.
I thought that was Marcus Hammett going up the inside of Nelson there at the AWMF corner. Interesting fact, you got Glenn Nelson, who raced in Supersport 300 for many, many years. Marcus Hammett is the reigning Supersport 300 champion. Right behind him is a man that's won more 300 championships than probably both of those riders put together. And he's also a mechanic at the Moto City dealership in Wollongong that is sponsoring Marcus Hammett. So plenty of types there. They do a lot of training together, Marcus and Brando, down at the Kembla Grange go-kart track as well, riding their super motard machines. They're very competitive with each other, it's fair to say, Steve.
I'm sure they are, I'm sure they are. But that was a good overtake by Marcus Hammett there. He doesn't have a lot of experience on these 600s. He's injured himself. He's come back from injury. What was a wrist injury, I believe, yeah?
Yeah, wrist and hand.
Yeah, so they're always...
significant injuries.
Yeah, they're always hard to come back from. But again, it's Favell sitting there behind the man in front, Farnsworth, who's looking the smoothest I've seen him in a long time. He really is starting to smooth things out. He's perhaps been called erratic at times, but he's looking pretty good out there at the moment.
So down into turn 1 we go.
Motul corner.
I was going to say through Motul, and when we get to AWMF, that change of direction is where Favell just seems to get any losses on the straight are all made up as he made his way through that change of direction. He carries a lot of corner speed through there as Nelson comes back on Hammett down into Motul corner. Looks like they may have just dropped off Brendan Demery, but charging forward is Hunter Ford on board bike number 8. He looks like he's got a little bit more pace. He's actually just set his fastest lap of the race, Steve, with a 37.0. Demery did a 38.5. Nelson did a 38.4, and Hammett did a 38.4 as well.
I mean, 35.6 for our leader, Jonathan Nahles. That's pretty impressive. Under no pressure now, 3.8 seconds. Nahles is doing a good job. Up the inside goes Hammett again. He is very, very good into the Honda corner.
Well, this is the final lap, and JJ's lead out to 3.8 seconds as he made his way through intermediate number 2. Our attention at the moment is focused on this battle with Marcus Hammett getting back up into 8th position ahead of Glenn Nelson. Ford is charging, but maybe too late. They come through Racing Road corner. Coming through the final corner, though, Yamaha Revs Your Heart corner, it is JJ Nahles. He will take another win and keep his perfect Phillip Island record intact for 2024. He takes the win on board bike number 20. Great win there from JJ Nahles. A fraction off his own lap record in the blustery conditions. Archie McDonald will take 2nd position. Ollie Simpson will take 3rd. Jake Farnsworth and also Jack Favell will have the battle for 4th position all the way to the flag. 4 seconds, the winning margin for JJ Nahles over Archie McDonald in the first of our Michelin Supersport races for today. Ollie Simpson will join them at the podium, courtesy of his 3rd place finish. Fair way ahead of Jake Farnsworth in 4th, Jack Favell in 5th, Tom Bramich in 6th, Hayden Nelson in 7th, Hammett in 8th, Ford in 9th, and Glenn Nelson rounds out that top 10.
Yeah, Demery in that 11th. Nicholson takes 12th. John Quinn, good result from him in 13th. Luca Durning, 14th. Cameron Rende gets a point. Cooper Roundtree in 16th. Jeremy Huddleston in 17th. And, of course, Mark Kyoto didn't finish the race.
Yeah, Mark Kyoto, Jack Mahaffey incident will be investigated after the race, was the official advice, came up on our timing monitor. Riders now coming back to Park for May. You can see JJ getting the congratulations from the family there.
So let's head down to Chris.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Well, that was your Michelin Supersport 600 first race of the day. 3rd place man, Ollie Simpson. Ollie, congratulations with that, but a few issues on the bike?
Yeah, I felt pretty comfortable in the first couple of laps, and then noticed a bit of an issue when I passed Narlos into Honda hairpin again. I just the bars sort of just stopped sort of turning on me, and as soon as I tried to push or change direction, it sort of the whole bike would try and go with it. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. I think we know what the problem is, so we'll get it sorted for the second race, and yeah, we'll come back stronger in the second race.
Well, you got another go at it, so yeah, good luck for the next one.
Cheers.
There you go. That's these guys. They can ride a motorbike when it doesn't even steer. That's your third place, man. Second place, Archie McDonald. Congratulations. Well done. Tyre fight out there, Michelin versus Pirelli. How was your setup?
I think we're almost there, but we're not yet. I'm at 90%. Obviously, 100% to first, but I've got a bit more to go. Like I said, there's a complete different tyre under me compared to the others, but I wouldn't rather be on anything else. Like it lasts the distance of the race, and I'm very happy with Michelin. But I think there's more setup to it than other tyres, and I think we're going to work towards that, and then it'll bring home the race win. Congratulations to Narlis. He's done a good job on the race. Ollie was doing very fast. I don't know what happened. I think he had a problem, but he wasn't going to get in my way. No way. And all I can say is there's another race tomorrow, so keep watching.
Another race this afternoon, so congratulations again.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. It's our second place, man. And the winner, the dominant winner in the Michelin Supersport 600 race, Jonathan Narlos. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great race. I mean, I got off to a pretty good start. Me and Ollie were back to like right there together. But yeah, it was. I made my way in front of him, and then I just had to put my head down and focus on what I had to do. And yeah, reeled out a few fast laps, and yeah, got a bit of a lead, and yeah, ended up on the top step where I wanted to be. But yeah, halfway through that race, it got pretty difficult from the wind. I think the wind picked up, and yeah, it got tough. And then yeah, but yeah, on the top step, so thrilled.
Now, congratulations and extend that championship lead. Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
There you go. Back to you guys.
Time to head down to the grid. Chris is down there with our riders.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. And I'm on the grid. I've got to tell you, it feels a bit cooler than it did for race one, but I'm going to get the pole man here, Ollie Simpson. You had some issues with the bike in race one. You feeling this one?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely know where I need to improve on this one, and obviously the bike issues didn't help in the first one. So yeah, if I get a clean start, and then yeah, just feel as comfortable as I did in the first few laps in the other one, and yeah, see how we go. Just push towards the end, and yeah, it's going to be a close race. So yeah, it'll be a good race.
You know how to do it, so good luck.
Cheers.
There you go. That guy does know how to win races, and this man did win the last race. I'm going to grab him quickly before the end. Jonathan Narlos, sensational race one. Any changes for race two?
Nah, same thing. Yeah, just got to do my thing. Hopefully, yeah, we can hopefully break out again and get on the top step again.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you.
There you go. I'll throw it back to you guys while I get off the grid.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. And yeah, great to see that performance from JJ. But yes, Ollie Simpson had been so strong, Steve, and then you picked it. You said there's something wrong with Ollie's bike, and that was the case. He still managed to record a very strong result, but I think he's going to be looking for just a little bit more come Michelin Supersport race number 2 checkered flag that will be arriving in 9 laps' time, as he tries to get that race bike services machine off the grid strongly and position himself in that lead group, which, as we saw in race number 1, was essentially the top 3 on the grid with the top 3 in the race. Then there was a great battle behind. Jake Farnsworth on board bike number 49, who starts on the second row of the grid, will be well and truly in that, and I'm expecting that Jack Mahaffey on the stop and seal machine will be looking to do exactly the same thing. And Ollie Simpson will start from pole position. JJ Narlos took the race 1 win. He'll start our second. And Archie McDonald starts on the outside position on the front row of the grid.
Row 2 is Jake Farnsworth, Jack Mahaffey and Jack Favell. Now, they had a good race last time out. Mark Kyoto, Tom Bramich and Hayden Nelson, row 3.
Row 4 will be Hunter Ford, who had also had a good race 1, Glenn Nelson and Brandon Demery, who had his 27th birthday yesterday.
Marcus Hammond, Scott Nicholson, Luca Durning. Now, we saw Scott Nicholson a minute ago, didn't we? He's doing double time. John Quinn, Cameron Rende, fresh from Europe, and Cooper Roundtree in 18th.
So big grid of Michelin Supersport riders. There's Brandon Demery on board bike number 11, was having a great run in race number 1. Being a good battle with his good mate Marcus Hammond on board the Motor City entry. Good to see Marcus inside the top 10 on his return from injury as well too, Steve.
Yeah, I just noticed Hayden Nelson as well using a clear visor. You can see there Ollie's got a dark visor. Most of the guys have, but Hayden Nelson going with what normally would be like a rain visor for this one. Maybe slightly clearer vision. We are clouded over today, but why he would do that, don't know.
Yeah, the 17-year-old from Taree on board that BC Performance Kawasaki ZX6. There's Ollie Simpson pulling the Race Bike Services Simpson crash machine up onto pole position as Sam Phillips leaves the front of the grid. We're ready to go racing. Michelin Supersport is go.
Did you see that?
I did see that. We'll wait for the officials to look at that start as we make our way down in towards turn one. But what a start once again from Ollie Simpson, Steve. He has got a cracking start once again. He'll lead them through turn one. Archie McDonald is up into second position, is it? And Jack Mahaffey is up into third.
We got a faller.
Yep, that looks like one of the Irish racing team machines down there at the rear of the grid. Also, bike number 12, I think Luca Durning also involved in that as well. Scott Nicholson's got a great start. He's up inside the top 10.
Yeah, Luca Durning, Quinn, Krupa and Cameron Rett. There's quite a few of those guys involved in that one.
Also, Marcus Hammond did not start the race due to a mechanical issue.
Oh, that's unfortunate for him, isn't it? Because he rode so well last time out. Let's hope that they can repair that for next time. But, yeah, that's the number 12 rider. Hunter Ford is there too. Cameron Rende, who ran off, is back on and making his way forward again, so it's good for the young South Australian.
Speaking of South Australians, one of them leads the race, and that is Ollie Simpson on board bike number 45 with the two Sop and Seal machines of Archie McDonald and Jack Mahaffey, also well placed in that lead group as well.
Oh, we've got a red flag out. You can see Archie not happy about that.
Not very happy at all. The red flag, probably due to the bikes in a precarious position, so the teams will come back out onto the grid.
Yeah, we just need, they need to clean those bikes up out of the way, because if someone goes down in the same spot and then hits those bikes, not ideal. So the officials doing the absolute correct decision here. We can just have another look at what happened through that turn one on the Ducati replay. 90% of the field made it through okay. On the change of direction there, on the inside, big, is that one of the...
I think it was
Ford's bike?
I'm not sure, but the Irish racing team machine actually came in contact with Luca Durning, pushed his front brake on, which caused a massive front brake lock-up. That was why he went essentially end over end. Durning got caught up in the carnage as well. There's plenty more action coming up. Restart of Michelin Supersport race number 2 coming up after this break. And welcome back. We are at Phillip Island. Thanks very much to Visit Victoria to sample the magnificent Phillip Island circuit for round 5 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships presented by Motul. And the Michelin Supersport riders are heading out on their warm-up lap. Of course, we had a red flag and a restart is now occurring for the second leg. The race has been reduced to 8 laps. You can see the Michelin technicians doing a great job here this weekend. Of course, a few runners in the Michelin Supersport category. The real tyre war is on, though, between Michelin, Pirelli and Dunlop, and none more so than in this class. With Pirelli runners, Michelin runners and Dunlop runners all seeing podium success in 2024. Tom Bramich there on the Apex Group machine, just sort of hanging back on the warm-up lap to make sure that he arrives at the grid with the warmest possible tyres. Mark Chiodo on board bike number 23, one of the Michelin runners out there. There's Paris Hardwick from the AMA Superbike category, or AMA Warehouse Superbike category, getting ready for action later on today.
Yeah, he'll be up there watching the start. He'll be watching the lights. That's what he's doing to try and get a gauge on how they're going to go out.
So riders pulling up onto the grid now. You can see a pretty healthy crowd here, lined all the way down from opposite the start-finish area, all the way down to turn 1. Taking in the action here at Phillip Island. Of course, MotoGP will be here in a few short weeks' time. The build has already started. You can see the grandstand starting to be constructed around the straight and down towards the bottom end of the circuit. There's the poleman, Ollie Simpson. The Simpson Crash Simpson signs machine making his way back to pole position. We get ready to go racing. Restart of Michelin Supersport, race number 2 for the weekend. Sam Phillips leaves the front of the grid. We're ready to go. Supersport is go. Great start, remember, on the front row of the grid. No way, go jump start for the front row that time, Steve. But it is once again Simpson that has got a cracking start and will be leading the field as they make their way down in towards turn one. Farnsworth's got a great start as well on board bike number 49 from the second row of the grid. Tom Bramich has also got a great start too. Good result there for the rider from Upper Beaconsfield. Oh, that's a big crack there.
That's Jonathan Nayless and Archie McDonald. Both out. Nayless went up the inside and just asked too much of the front tyre, and it was all over.
Well, those bikes are in the gravel trap there at turn 2, the AWMF corner, and it is Ollie Simpson now that is out in the lead with a pretty handy lead. Marcus Kyoto coming up the inside of Tom Bramich there to take up the running.
Oh, Kyoto's down.
Kyoto's had a massive crash on the exit of turn 4. Looked like, I think that was Hayden Nelson, had to take evasive action there on board the BC Performance Kawasaki.
Yeah, Kyoto just got on the gas too hard out of that tight Honda corner and high-sided. And that was the end of this race for him.
So we've got 3 of our front runners down in the first 4 corners of this restarted Michelin Supersport category. That's going to turn the championship completely on its head, Steve, because Farnsworth is now up into second. Bramich could be on track for a podium here with a strong start, putting him in 3rd position early on in this race. Remember, it is only an 8-lap race as well, and don't discount Scotty Nicholson on board bike number 39, fresh off his Supersport 300 race earlier on today.
Well, Jack Mahaffey as well is right up there in that 4th position on his machine, stop and seal machine. Be interesting to see what he can do. Remember, he didn't finish race 1, but what about this guy, number 39, back-to-back, and raced in the 300 class, and now he's here in this Michelin Supersport class as well. 2 classes in one weekend. Who does that?
He was up to 7th. He just gone back 1 position as Favell goes up the inside. Great start there too from Brendan Demery on board bike number 11. As we mentioned, he celebrated his 27th birthday yesterday. And Brando off to a great start on board the Race DNA Kawasaki ZX6. We make our way out of AWMF corner and down towards turn 4. Well, it's Marcus Hammett. He's been able to get the bike back out there on track. He didn't take part in the first race start, but because the race has been completely restarted, Steve, the Motor City man is out there. The reigning Supersport 300 champion coming back this weekend from those significant hand injuries that he suffered in the lead up to the Morgan Park round, ruling him out of that round.
Well, that is super good to see, because that's what he needs to do. He just needs to get laps under his belt. He hasn't had that many laps on this 600 machine, so he needs to get used to the Honda. Let's have a look at the Ducati replay at what happened. Nayless up the inside, goes tight, folds the front. Archie McDonald's on the outside there. Not much for Archie to do, but it's all over for those 2 riders. Archie definitely not going to be happy with that. Nayless took him out. That incident is under investigation.
You can see Kyoto there coming up the inside of Tom Bramich. He just gets on the gas on the transition there from off the brakes and onto the throttle, and unfortunately Hayden Nelson having to take evasive action on that BC Performance machine as Kyoto picks up his machine. I don't think he's been able to, yes, he has been able to get going again as Farnsworth now challenges for the race lead.
Yeah, what a great ride by Farnsworth. He's been pretty strong all weekend, and we know that the number 45, Ollie Simpson's been a fast starter, but he said he had issues with his bike. Have they fixed them? Look at the lead that these 2 guys have got on the rest of the field. They've got 3.7 seconds over Bramich in 3rd place.
Well, Farnsworth has only had 1 podium this year, Steve, and that was at his home round at Sydney Motorsport Park in race number 2, where he finished in 3rd position. He would love nothing more than to take a race win here at Phillip Island. Simpson tries to fight back on the inside, but Farnsworth is just too deep and late on the brakes.
Well, I don't even know how how those 2 guys got a 3.7 second gap. Like, it seems like straight up like that. It was an incredible gap by these guys. But anyway, this is Farnsworth's best opportunity to get a win in this class to date.
Through the hay shed they go, race and road corner. Very windy over there, and then they get even more affected by the wind as Ollie Simpson goes back into the lead.
Yeah, maybe Ollie Simpson had some sort of moment, but Farnsworth, we know, is really, really good on the brakes, and if he can just sit behind Simpson, he'll be able to, like, settle into that pace, learn where he's stronger than Simpson, and then later in the race, have a good crack at getting this victory.
That incident at turn 2, the AWMF corner on lap 1 between Nayless and McDonald. No further action, according to race control. Farnsworth, he's a fighter, and he slips into the slipstream now to take advantage of that and go sailing past the Simpson machine down into Motul Corner.
Well, I don't know if they call him Crazy Jake anymore, but that used to be his nickname,
Well,
Crazy Jake.
It's emblazoned on the back of his leathers, and he's letting Ollie Simpson see that right now.
Well,
but Ollie Simpson is fast and smooth, whereas Crazy Jake, well, as I said, he's a fighter. He loves nothing more than scrapping it out. Sometimes he'll be very wild on the brakes. The bike will get out of shape, but that's how we love watching Jake Farnsworth ride.
Well, Worth Race Development's rider doing his best out there at the moment and doing a very, very good job.
Well, he took the very tight line there down into Honda Corner Turn 4 on that occasion to make sure there was no way that Simpson could come back up the inside.
Well, I just want to say, it's not that everyone's going slow. Farnsworth has just cracked a 134.9. That is a very impressive lap time. I think the outright lap record's 134.6 thereabouts, Phil, something like that.
134.6. They got down to a 134.8 in race 1. That was Narlos, the race leader.
So both of these guys are like doing incredible lap times, considering the amount of wind that's out there at the moment.
Yeah, 134.682, the lap record currently held by JJ Narlos, who unfortunately is out of this race. So is Archie McDonald. Both of them, the front runners in the championship. They were first and second coming into, Simpson a bit wide there on the entry into Yamaha Corner.
No, that's okay. He's taken a wide entry, which you can do there, and then you sort of like straighten it up to get more drive down the straight. There's a tight line and a wide line there, especially when you've got that wind blowing down the straight. You can actually enter later. Let's head down to Chris.
Yeah, what a race, guys. I don't want to interrupt too much, but I'm here with a guy, a front runner in Supersport, Tom Taparis. We saw you have a big crash last time out. Basically, is that the reason you're not racing here this weekend?
Yeah, it is the reason. I've got a broken pelvis in 2 spots and some vertebrae in my back that still haven't healed. So yeah, just on the safe side. Obviously, not going to race in this one, and hopefully back for the next round at One Raceway.
And talking about that, the next round, home round for you, Goulburn Boy, One Raceway. You're excited about that one?
Oh mate, it's so good. Like I can't wait for everybody to get there and see what the Shelley brothers have done. Like we should be so grateful. They've resurrected a track from the dead to like an amazing facility now. So yeah, a couple of weeks to wait, and we'll be all there. I can't wait to see our town pumping again with people. It should be good.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed we see you back, and I can't wait to go to the new track.
Cheers, thanks, Chris. Should be good.
Back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks very much, Chris. We are all so keen to get back to Goulburn, and let's hope that Tom Taparis is fit, because the Goulburnians love nothing more than cheering on their heroes. And of course, Troy Herfoss has had great success there over the years, and Tom Taparis is keeping that going. Hopefully Tom is fit to ride at the next round. Not too long to wait either, Steve. That's good news. And Jake Farnsworth, he's hoping it's not too long to wait until he takes a race win in the Michelin Supersport category, because he is stalking all over the back of Ollie Simpson now as they come onto the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight. This will complete 5 laps of the 8-lap journey. So it's time to start strategising now for Jake Farnsworth. He's got a massive gap behind him. The gap back to Jack Mahaffey is 5.7 seconds.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, this is... wow, he's just doing such a good job. And Ollie Simpson, if he thought he was going to have an easy race, well, it's not the way it's panned out for him. Sure, easy perhaps to get second if he backed off, but we know that that's not the type of rider that he is. Ollie Simpson needs those 25 points to try and close down the gap in the championship to Jonathan Naylor, who's going to lose a bag of points this time out. Of course, he's going to score no points. But again, look how good Farnsworth is on the brakes into the Honda corner.
Well, he's good on the brakes, but he doesn't look to lose a lot of drive out. Sometimes it's a compromise, isn't it, Steve? You go in deep and late on the brakes, you lose the drive on the way out. But not so for Jake Farnsworth. Good battle there from Marcus Hammond and Brendan Demery, the good mates from Wollongong. They do a lot of training together on board motards at the Kembla Grange go-kart track on Wednesday nights, and they're having a battle on track now, and right behind them is Brendan Demery. Scott Nicholson in there as well. Trying to get another update from Chris.
Yeah, guys, I'm still down here in the Stop and Seal garage. Archie McDonald just came in, unfortunately taken out by Jonathan Naylor in that Turn 2 incident. Tell us about what happened. I know you probably didn't see it, just got taken out.
Before the red flag, I had a great start. You know, I was battling with Ollie already. And then got red flag like it does. And restarted the race, another strong start into second. Nalis is going to fight for the position like every other rider does. Everyone's competitive, and he fought for it. I felt I was in front. It's a racing instance. This stuff happens. You know, that's why they say shit happens, and it does. And yeah, bright side, no one's got points. We're still equal in the championship. Anything can happen from now on. It's very, very unlucky. I've lost a lot of points, valuable points. Like I said, I hope Darce is all right. You know, he hasn't injured himself. I think I've done a finger, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, I can't thank the team enough for the weekend. We've done such a good result till now, and we're going to keep our chin up and go on to the next round, I guess.
Well, the main thing is you're okay, and yeah, we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, best of luck to my pinky finger, but yeah, thanks everyone. See you next round.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Chris. And well, Archie McDonald, he's even funny when he's had a crash and he's no longer participating in the race. Just an interesting one for you, Steve. The battle for third place and that last place on the podium is well and truly on. Some 6 seconds behind this battle at the moment. Jack Mahaffey and Tom Bramage separated by, at the moment, 0.7 of a second. Mahaffey looking for his second podium of the year. Tom Bramage looking for his third.
Yeah, of course, Mahaffey having a little bit of bad luck earlier on today when he had that coming together with Marcus Chiodo, but he's making up for it now, sitting in that podium position. But again, like you say, a lot of pressure further back in the pack.
Yep, and it's full Nelson time because it's Hayden Nelson and Glenn Nelson having a good battle there for sixth position at the moment. Currently, it is Hayden Nelson on the BC Performance Kawasaki, leading from Glenn Nelson on the Stop and Seal Yamaha YZF R6.
Of course, Hayden Nelson on the Dunlop tyres as well, correct?
He is, and he's also a first-year motorcycle mechanic in Taree as well. So doing a good job to get immersed in the industry as well as doing some great riding this year. He's already had a podium at the last round at Morgan Park as well.
He also knows how to win Australian championships. We talked about the Australian Superbike three-time championships. Well, he's a three-time Australian dirt bike championship, as well. So he knows how to win a championship as the number 279.
Well, and also grew up very close to the old bar circuit, one of the original oil tracks in New South Wales as well. As we go back to this third place battle, it looks like Bramage has managed to close that gap down a fraction. It's down to 0.4 of a second now, so it's almost halved the gap to Mahaffey.
We're on the final lap, so Bramage is going to have to pull something out, as these two guys are hitting it too. What is Farnsworth going to do here? He's going to have to get desperate. Probably not close enough to do something down into Pirelli. They head down the hill. Will he look up the inside? No, he won't.
Well, he needs to start his drive here if he wants to get onto the back of Ollie Simpson's machine and possibly use any slipstream advantage as they come out of Yamaha Revs Your Heart corner turn 12 and set sail for that start-finish line down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight. There goes Simpson on that white line again. The wide line, Steve, looks to be working.
Farnsworth's got good drive.
He's got great drive. He's right into the slipstream. He pulls out of the slipstream. Has he gone too early? Farnsworth, oh, they go to the line. It is so close. Oh. I don't think they know who's taken the win.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty close.
Oh, Bramage and Mahaffey so close as they went across the line as well.
I think Bramage got third.
Bramage got third by 0.012 of a second, and it looks like Farnsworth has had to play second fiddle to Ollie Simpson. Simpson taking the win by 0.016 of a second.
Wow.
Over Farnsworth.
What a race.
So separating those podium positions, we had absolutely nothing, Steve. It was less than 0.03 of a second. Yeah. Separating the podium positions there between first and third. Confirmation of that result. Simpson taking the win. Farnsworth in second. Another good podium for Jake Farnsworth. Tom Bramage, his third podium of the year. Congratulations to him and the Apex team. Mahaffey took fourth. A great recovery after the crash in turn one. Favell, his best ride of the year, in fifth position. Hayden Nelson in sixth. Glenn Nelson in seventh. Marcus Hammond in eighth. Scott Nicholson in ninth. And Brendan Demery, the birthday boy from yesterday, rounds out your top 10.
Hunter Ford in 11th. 12th is Cameron Rende. Good comeback by him. Mark Chiodo got going again, which was good to see, in 13th and got points. Cooper Roundtree in 14th. 15th was Jeremy Huddleston. Jonathan Nalis obviously didn't finish. Either did Archie McDonald or Cooper Roundtree.
And your championship points now means that JJ Nalos leads on 201. Ollie Simpson's moved into second on 181, so 20 points the difference. Jake Farnsworth in third, Tom Bramage in fourth, and Archie McDonald in fifth place on 164.
Yeah, work to do for Archie McDonald now, that's for sure. Jack Favell in sixth, Hayden Nelson seventh. Eighth is Jack Mahaffey getting some good points. Glenn Nelson in ninth. Let's head down to Chris.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I was just talking to Tom there. He was asking how close the front two were. What a race it was. the Michelin Supersport 600 race 2. Tom Bramage, congratulations and great to see you back on the podium.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. It's been a really hard weekend. We've been on the back foot since practice 1 and we haven't stopped trying and fixing stuff on the bike after Morgan Park. So really happy to reward the team with the podium. Yeah, it's nice to be up here again, and I can't thank all my sponsors enough for helping me, Apex, Carl Cox and Elliott Bros. So thanks heaps, guys.
Well done again, mate. There you go. That's our third place guy. And second place, what a race this was. Jake Farnsworth, I was standing near the finish line. I actually thought you had that, but it was so close. What a ride.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, when I got into the lead and I was closing in on Ollie, I thought, okay, he passed me back a few times and he was a bit faster through some of the sections of the track. So I thought, okay, I need to play this smart. I'll sit behind and see what we can do on the last lap. But unfortunately, we just missed out. But hey, new PB for me around here, and you know, the team's awesome. Bike's working so fantastically, and I can't thank my sponsors and my team enough. Pirelli, Moto School, Worth Race Developments, Kingston Automotive, and Racondi Leathers.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
There you go. That's so good to see. And what a race by the race winner. Both these guys, like everyone said before, in the 34s around Phillip Island, competing hard. Ollie Simpson, back a race winner again. Good to see.
Yeah, that was just a really great race. That was. It's good for morale, I think, that one, because I haven't had a good result of what I'd like in a few rounds, and yeah, it's just I love this track. It's just nice to be able to put in some hard times and have some good racing. I didn't know Narlis and Archie McDonald crashed in that one until the end there. I knew someone was behind me, Jake, and I just sort of put my head down. He come past me a few times down the straight, and I sort of just got in front and just I knew I was strong into Honda and MG. I knew I had some pretty good brakes on my bike, so yeah, I just rode my hardest, went a bit tight and defensive in the last lap, and he was able to get right up alongside me along the straight there, and yeah, it was exciting for the viewers, I think, and yeah, keep it rolling for the next one.
It was exciting for us, and I love the smile on your face. Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers.
There you go. That's our podium men from the Michelin Supersport 600 race 2.
Oh, thanks very much, Chris. The race is well and truly on now for the Michelin Supersport category. Only 20 points between JJ Narlis and Ollie Simpson with 2 rounds to go. That's round 5 done. Next, we head to the One Raceway, the new circuit at Goulburn in New South Wales for round 6 of the championship, and then the grand final, the 8th to the 10th of November at the Bend Motorsport Park in South Australia. But from Phillip Island and round 5, it's goodbye, and we'll see you at Wakefield Park.